Hey everybody, having a faith that produces wisdom in life is very, very important. In fact, if your faith isn't producing godly wisdom, then something could be wrong with your faith. But first, let's ask, what is wisdom? It's been described that wisdom is simply applying heavenly knowledge to earthly living. And we'll see that James opens up that subject right here, and he affirms Old Testament literature from Job to the Song of Solomon that there's two types of wisdom in the world. And here in James, as we unpack 13 through 18 of chapter 3, we see these two types of wisdom described. There is the wisdom that comes from earth, from man, and then there's the wisdom that comes from above, and that is from God. James asks here, who is wise and understanding among you? And then he goes on to state that those who are wise act wisely. Godly wisdom comes out in godly actions done in meekness and humility. Now, he contrasts godly, faith-filled wisdom with bitter jealousy and selfish ambition, which includes boasting in the flesh and is contrary to the truth of God and his wisdom. Now, this earthly wisdom boasts in the flesh and what we can do in and of ourselves. It is ambitious to live in the flesh and do what seems right to it, what seems right unto man. But the way that seems right unto man, as we know in Proverbs 14:12, that way leads to death and destruction. Now, these things are not from God, but from the world. Earthly wisdom is unspiritual and even demonic, he describes. And where jealousy and selfish ambition exist, you'll have disorder in every vile practice, which stems from this broken earthly wisdom. And that's strong language, but it makes sense that what seems right to the world, what seems right to man, can only lead to sinful and chaotic living as it is rooted in self. And the self is broken. We are broken. We are tainted with sin. So it makes sense, again, that the best we can do, our best earthly wisdom is still messed up and flawed. So it will fail us and it will ultimately corrupt us. We know this to be true in our culture as we look around and we see self-exaltation everywhere. It's a me-centered world we live in, and we as people can be jealous of not getting the attention we believe we deserve, whether online, on social media, or in real-life situations. And all of this self-worship has corrupted many of us as we've sought after earthly wisdom. All this leads to divisiveness, but that's not the faith-filled wisdom from God. Instead of leading to disorder, the wisdom attained from God, this heavenly knowledge, leads to peace. Now, James, in this chapter, in verses 13 through 18, says, "But the wisdom from above is first pure, then peaceable, gentle, open to reason, full of mercy and good fruits, impartial and sincere." As God gives us heavenly wisdom to apply in our earthly living, we can know that it is pure. It is devoid of any corruption or sin, and it will not fail. God will not fail in his wisdom. It is peaceable and gentle, not disorderly or chaotic. Peace is the opposite of disorder. It is open to reason and understanding, full of mercy, think patience and good fruits. It is impartial. It is sincere. It is the will of God, the wisdom of God. It seeks out the best result, God's result in all of our living, and truth is the best way forward for all of us as we live in godly wisdom. Now, when we get to verse 18, we see a harvest of righteousness is sown in peace by those who make peace. What powerful words from James here. The picture of a sower is used to create a powerful image. Godly wisdom leads to peace, which leads to righteousness. And that's how we should all want to live. Are we sowing in peace and reaping righteousness? Are you and I living in godly wisdom, applying heavenly knowledge from our Father to our lives as we go to and fro here on this earth? So when we look back to chapter 1 of James, we remember that God will grant heavenly wisdom to those who ask of him. But when you ask, be ready to receive it, and then act wisely in gentleness and in good works. I hope that encourages you this morning. Let's ask for God's wisdom as we tackle this day. We hope you have a great weekend as well, and we'll see you next time.